As the holiday shipping season hits its peak, Amazon workers across the country and here in the West walk off the job.
We want 30 an hour. We want some of the benefits that UPS drivers have. There's no reason that Amazon cannot pay a higher wage for us.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Amazon insists this new strike is not going to lead to delivery disruptions. Amazon workers across the West started walking picket lines early this morning. This labor dispute is one of several that's playing out during the heart of the holiday season. We begin tonight's coverage in Southern California with Fox 11's Mario Ramirez in the City of Industry.
Well, the union is warning Amazon customers this could impact deliveries. The company says it's not expected to have a big impact. They say the union behind these picketers represents less than 1% of its U.S. workforce.
Amazon, you can't hide. We can see your greedy side.
The strike happening today at Amazon warehouses in New York, Chicago, Atlanta, San Francisco, and at 4 facilities here in Southern California in Palmdale, Victorville, Industry, and San Bernardino.
In 6 years, with the work that I do, $22.75, and I felt like a slap in the face.
Thousands of workers are demanding better pay and safer working conditions.
We want 30 an hour. We want some of the benefits that UPS drivers have. There's no reason that Amazon cannot pay a higher wage for us.
The strike is being organized by the International Brotherhood of Teamsters after the union says Amazon ignored a Sunday deadline to begin contract negotiations.
I'm out here today because Amazon has refused to recognize this. They've been union busting us. They've been sending people in as consultants to let us know that, basically shaming the union.
The workers here are demanding a pay raise to a base salary of $30 an hour. Meanwhile, Amazon says under its business model, these drivers technically work for a third-party company. The union argues that Amazon should be classified as an employer because it essentially controls everything the drivers do.
I think it's a smart way to wash their hands of us. When I'm walking down the street and I hear a little kid come up, they don't say, "Here comes that third party." They say, "Here comes Amazon." I'm delivering Amazon. I wear Amazon. I drive a big step van. It says Amazon.
This is an open-ended strike. Union leaders say these picketers will be out here until Amazon agrees to negotiate a new contract. In the City of Industry, I'm Mario Ramirez, Fox 11 News.
Strikes also underway at hotels in several western states. Culinary union workers at the Virgin Hotels Las Vegas Resort have been walking picket lines since last month. Hundreds of housekeepers, porters, bellhops, and servers all demanding higher wages and better benefits. Executives with Virgin Hotels say they offered pay increases that failed to satisfy the union. They're accusing union leaders of bargaining in bad faith. They issued a statement saying in part the union chose to engage in take it or leave it bargaining, refusing to move off of a position that it knows is not economically viable for our off-strip property and that would negatively impact all hotel team members. In San Francisco, union workers at Marriott are voting on a new contract tonight. Marriott workers with Unite Here Local 2 went on strike last month at 4 hotels, including the famed Westin St. Francis. The union says the 4-year deal would preserve health insurance and increase wages. Workers say they're satisfied with the deal coming just in time for the holidays.
A great deal. And we were able to gain, our wage increases that were much needed with inflation nowadays.
Workers with Hyatt and Hilton have been on the picket lines for nearly 3 months now. Union leaders hope hotel negotiators come to the table before the holidays. Well, it's not a strike, but travelers encountered picket lines at airports across the West today. It was a day of action by United Airlines flight attendants calling for better pay and working conditions. A group of U.S. senators sent a letter to United's CEO today urging him to return to the bargaining table. Those senators include Washington's Maria Cantwell, Nevada's Catherine Cortez Masto, Hawaii's Macy Hirono, Oregon's Jeff Merkley and Ron Wyden, and California's Alex Padilla and Adam Schiff. In a statement, United said, "We are eager to reach the industry-leading agreement with our flight attendants that they deserve. United is offering pay raises of 22.5%, new boarding pay, and many other improvements. The federal mediation process requested by the Association of Flight Attendants is expected to resume in early 2025 with the new negotiating committee named by the union." Authorities are taking action against a San Diego County man accused of contacting the teenage girl behind a deadly school shooting in Wisconsin this week. The FBI says he messaged the 15-year-old about his own plan to attack a government building with guns and explosives. A judge issued an order under California's red flag law requiring the man turn in his weapons to police. And a funeral will be held tomorrow for one of the victims of that shooting at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison. An obituary identified the student as 14-year-old Ruby Vergara. Also killed in the attack, 42-year-old Erin West, a teacher at the school. Her funeral is happening on Monday. 2 other victims remain hospitalized tonight. Investigators say 15-year-old Natalie Rupno opened fire at that school before taking her own life. An update now on the killing of a Seattle bus driver in the middle of his shift. As Fox 13's AJ Janavel reports tonight, the suspect, identified by police, has had previous trouble with the law.
The suspect, Mr. Sitzlak, is believed to be a transient and is someone who often frequents the University District and downtown Seattle. Again, he is believed to be armed and dangerous, so please do not approach him.
More than 30 hours after driver Sean Yim was murdered on his Metro bus, Seattle police released surveillance pictures of the wanted man.
The Metro coach drivers, they all have his photograph. Every police officer in the city has his photograph and has his information.
Detective Eric Munoz with Seattle Police tells me Richard Sitzlak was last seen in downtown Seattle 15 hours after the killing, but police refused to explain any more details about this sighting. Officers also never found a weapon after the murder.
We are seeking the public's help in finding this person.
A year ago, Sitzlak was behind bars for a similar incident. Investigators tell me Sitzlak was arrested for murder in connection to the death of his roommate. However, no charges were filed and Sitzlak was released.
Both police and prosecutors looked at the admissible evidence and thought, we can't disprove the claim of self-defense.
The prosecutor's office said Sitzlak claimed his roommate tried to kill him with a machete. So, Sitzlak fought back, stabbed his roommate to death, then called the police.
If King County prosecutors had the evidence to charge murder, we would have charged him with murder.
And that was Fox 13's AJ Janavel reporting tonight. Sean Yim's family says the 59-year-old bus driver was a kind person who loved and protected his family. California Attorney General Rob Bonta says immigrant communities can count on the state's Department of Justice for legal protections. Bonta spoke today after an immigrant rights convention in San Francisco. This comes as the state legislature is considering a new litigation fund of up to $25 million to defend Californians as the Trump administration threatens mass deportations. Bonta stressed that ICE is allowed to pursue those who break immigration laws as long as it carries out its duties lawfully.
We want to focus our priorities on violations of other state criminal law, like tackling our fentanyl challenge, like human trafficking, like hate crimes, like organized retail crime. That's the decision that California has made.
Attorney General Bonta added that California is home to nearly 11 million immigrants, the most in the United States, who help to drive the state's economy and workforce. Many wealthy tech executives are working to strengthen their relationships with President-elect Trump before he takes office early next year. TMZ has posted video showing Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and his wife walking into Mar-a-Lago last night for a dinner with Trump. And the New York Times reports Elon Musk also joined that dinner as it was underway. After the dinner, Trump posted on social media, "Everyone wants to be my friend." We talked with TMZ about what led to the meeting.
Was something that was, spurred on by Jeff Bezos. It's something that Donald Trump had talked about a couple of days ago. He let people know during that press conference he did earlier in the week that Bezos did intend to come down and to meet with him. I think it certainly shows that Jeff Bezos this time around is much more supportive of the president-elect than he was in 2016 when Donald Trump first served as president.
And that dinner at Mar-a-Lago came days after Bezos reportedly committed to donate $1 million to Trump's inaugural fund. Now, Bezos and Trump have had a turbulent relationship over the years, but just before the November election, Bezos stopped the Washington Post, which he also owns, from endorsing a presidential candidate. The newspaper had planned to endorse Vice President Harris. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, UPS workers in Arizona accused of redirecting packages to themselves. Coming up tonight, investigators lay out this scheme to steal the goods. Plus, breathalyzers may detect more than just alcohol in the future. The work that's happening here in the West to make devices that can detect cannabis.
Record high temperatures were anticipated right there today in Las Vegas, Nevada. Didn't happen, but I'll talk about who will warm up for Christmas and who will not. Rain on the way with your West Coast Wrap forecast right after this brief timeout.
A holiday season retail theft bust recovered stolen merchandise worth about $150,000. Investigators in Orange County, California say they found those items after replying to an online marketplace ad. When an undercover Costa Mesa police officer showed up to buy, investigators say the suspect had electronics, perfumes, and other high-end products stored at his home and in his car. 35-year-old Wendell Rios has been arrested in this case. 4 UPS employees have been arrested in Arizona, accused of stealing packages from a UPS warehouse and then turning around and selling them. Authorities say over the course of a year, the 4 men would identify expensive-looking packages that came through the Mesa UPS facility. They're accused of then switching labels to send those packages to themselves, and then they would sell the electronics and household products online. The men appeared in court yesterday facing felony charges.
You were all arrested on allegations of theft, control of property, which is a Class 3 felony. And then Mr. Arias and Mr. Panasi, you were also charged with one count of fraudulent schemes, a Class 2 felony.
Our Fox affiliate in Phoenix stopped by one of the suspects' homes. Neither him nor his family wanted to give any sort of a statement. Well, there are signs more people are heading to shopping centers and malls this holiday season. Fox's Sunny Sai spoke to retailers in Las Vegas who understand that they have to meet the needs of online shoppers as well as bargain hunters in their stores.
I'm here at the Galleria at Sunset in Henderson, Nevada, and as you can see behind me, people are getting in their last-minute shopping before the holidays arrive next week. The National Retail Federation predicts nearly half of all shoppers will head to department and discount stores to check off their shopping lists. Some mall workers here tell me it just gets busier each year.
Black Friday was great. We hit goal. We actually passed goal, so it was good. It's better than last year. So that was good for us.
Before Thanksgiving, on Black Friday, it was crazy actually. So we are also ready for the Christmas week.
Some spots at the Galleria at Sunset are seeing a flood of visitors, especially during the holiday season. They say the customers want that in-person experience.
Most of the families have only the reason, to come here and make their kids fun here. This is the big reason for them, to come to the mall.
Everybody always likes to try on stuff too, so I think that's what keeps the malls open still.
The mall says it hasn't been this busy since COVID.
I would say since COVID, it's been the first holiday season where you actually, we're feeling the holiday spirit. The customers, you can just feel that they're happy to be out shopping, happy to be out, experiencing the holiday season.
The National Retail Federation says there has been a huge rebound in in-person shopping over the last 4 years.
We as consumers don't shop just because we need something. Shopping can be social, right? It's something, over the Thanksgiving weekend. One of the main reasons that people go out is for deals, but it's also to be with family and friends and be engaged in, a fun activity. And for a lot of people, shopping is that fun activity. So, I don't think we're going to ever see an end of, in-store shopping.
Gift cards are the most popular item on people's wish list this year, followed by clothing and accessories and books and other media, according to the National Retail Federation. In Henderson, Nevada, Sunny Sai, Fox News.
All right, let's talk about our weather here in the West, because if you are flying for the holidays, officials recommend that you keep a close eye on the forecast, because we do have weather that could potentially lead to some delays or cancellations. Here's a live look tonight at all the activity at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. It has been a wet day here at SeaTac and across that region. For more on what we can expect here for the next couple of days here, let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Roberta Gonzalez. And Roberta, you are tracking a series of storms set to hit the West Coast right as we head toward Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be in and out of the rain pretty much on the northwestern section of the Pacific Northwest and also into that northwestern quadrant of the state of California, bypassing Southern California for the next several days. Now, we do have flood warnings and watches in effect for the Pacific Northwest right now, primarily between Aberdeen and Alma, and this is in effect until tomorrow morning due to the fact that we have more rain coming. This is system number 1 here, providing plentiful rain showers from Seattle through Portland. Then notice the tail end dries out quickly, and this is a rapidly moving system. But behind this system, we have yet another one, that one behind me, and this one is going to impact the weekend from Northern California all the way into Seattle. The rain amounts for today into tomorrow morning in Seattle, about 1/4 inch of rain, leaving Northern California with nothing but goose eggs, but that'll change over the weekend with nearly 1/4 inch of rain in San Francisco, a full inch around the Eureka area, that northwestern corner of the state, and then heftier amounts as you go to the north. Reno, you're going to get some action over the weekend in the form of snow and rain, mainly rain until about Tuesday when the temperatures drop and then the snow will fall. And we're looking at about nearly 1/2 inch of rain in San Francisco between Sunday night and Monday night, but yet another storm for Christmas Eve. Today in Seattle, average high temperature 51, scored 55 today with mostly cloudy skies and these scattered showers. San Francisco, layers of dense fog. You can barely see the skyline of San Francisco from Oakland at 56 degrees, average high is 57, so pretty spot on as far as the temperatures are concerned. Phoenix, spectacular today, 83 degrees when your average high is 68 degrees. Currently in Phoenix, it is 68 degrees, 60 in Las Vegas. Expecting a record high there today. Did not materialize at all. It was 68 degrees as a high, 42 in Reno and Boise. You were looking good. Okay, so system number 1 rolling through, just providing a shield of clouds for Northern California. That's the one for the weekend right there. But it's going to move through so quickly, you're not going to see hefty rainfall amounts until this one right here, Sunday night into Monday. Then behind me, we have yet another storm for Christmas Eve. It's going to be wet. Check in with your local airports for the potential of any delays for arrivals or departures. It looks good in Denver over the next 3 days. Same in Phoenix, Los Angeles. You're stellar, but in and out of the rain from San Francisco all the way into Seattle. Make it a great Friday, Alex.
All right, thank you. You as well, Roberta. A partial government shutdown appears increasingly likely tonight after the House a short time ago failed to pass a budget bill that had been pushed by President-elect Trump. That spending package would have extended government funding into March, and on Trump's insistence, it would have raised the debt ceiling for the next 2 years. Democrats opposed that part of the bill, saying it was meant to allow Trump to extend tax cuts for the wealthy, which are set to expire next year. Democrats blamed Trump ally Elon Musk for railing online against the previous bipartisan bill.
Elon Musk, an unelected man, said, "We're not doing this deal." And Donald Trump followed along. So here we are, once again in chaos.
38 Republicans joined with Democrats to reject the bill, with conservatives opposed to raising the government's borrowing limit. House Speaker Mike Johnson insists the Trump administration will cut spending.
DOGE effort with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, the commitments that President Trump made on the campaign trail will come to fruition when we get about that very important work for the American people.
The vote is considered a setback for the president-elect and for Elon Musk, who took to his social media site tonight to blame Democrats for the bill's failure. But with Congress set to leave for the holidays, they could be motivated to get a deal done over this upcoming weekend. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, breathalyzers of the future. Researchers here in the West say they're on track to make devices that detect marijuana. Coming up, why not everyone is on board with this effort.
I think everybody's seen somebody that's impaired, and they don't need to do a real complex investigation or have a device with them.
On Wall Street, a fairly flat day, just one day after the indexes had one of their worst days in quite some time. The Dow was up slightly today. The Nasdaq was down by 19 points and the S&P off by 5 points. Shares were down sharply yesterday as traders are now expecting the Federal Reserve to deliver just 2 interest rate cuts next year. California's high-speed rail project is years behind schedule and billions of dollars over budget. It was supposed to be completed in 2020 for around $33 billion, but now costs are around $128 billion. California voters initially approved this project back in 2008 with a bond measure. The promise was a bullet train connecting San Francisco and Los Angeles in under 3 hours. With ballooning costs, though, no operational line and no train cars picked out yet, one California congressman wants to cut off federal funding.
The High-Speed Rail Authority says there's still a funding gap of $100 billion. They don't know where that money is going to come from. There have been 5 more CEOs of the Rail Authority than there have been passengers. There have been 5 CEOs. There have been 0 passengers.
Despite the setbacks, California Governor Gavin Newsom still supports the rail project. Well, researchers in Colorado want to upgrade breathalyzers. Fox 31's Rachel Sauer has more on the effort to create devices that detect cannabis.
In the Canavan, researchers at CU Boulder and the National Institutes of Standard Technology using chemistry and 13 breath samples to map a cannabis high in real time.
The question is there a time course where we see an increase and then a time that goes down?
They're working towards a tool that could measure cannabis in the body in a reliable way when it comes to impairment.
The idea of being able to detect that through breath or roadside just looks very different. It's more like a needle in a haystack when you have tiny, tiny amounts to detect versus alcohol. It's much more robust and much more standardized in terms of the higher levels.
Right now, law enforcement does not use a breathalyzer to test for THC, only alcohol. But they say the main goal is not necessarily to determine what they are impaired with, only that they are impaired.
We run a series of tests, things that will divide their attention, to see if they're able to focus on a task while also dividing their attention to something else while we're speaking with them.
If the person they have pulled over fails these tests, this is when they can consent to preliminary breath testing. And if nothing comes up, law enforcement will have them take a blood test to determine what it might be that's causing the impairment.
But the arrests are based on the driving and the impairment.
This is why law enforcement says they think this could be a useful tool, but they do not believe it is necessary.
I think everybody's seen somebody that's impaired, and they don't need to do a real complex investigation or have a device with them. It's nice, but it's old-time, old-school police work.
And that was Fox 31's Rachel Sauer reporting for us tonight. CU Boulder researchers say a pilot study showed a single breath measurement could not reliably indicate when cannabis was used or whether a person was impaired. It could detect only trace levels of cannabis in breath. And that does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you watching as always. And a quick reminder before we go, you can stay up to date on all the big stories we're covering across the West at westcoastwrap.com. We'll leave you here with this beauty shot of the Bay Bridge. Have a great night.